guys, it's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. So I've never done a story time on my channel before, and I figured why not, because I have a story. It's about, well, if you saw the title, it's about why me and my childhood best friend are no longer friends anymore. And I just want to put a disclaimer in. I'm not trying to expose her or whatever. I mean, kind of, but I'm not doing it in a mean and malicious way. I'm just telling my story and hoping that it will let some of you guys know, if you're going off to college and you're needing to pick roommates and stuff, to maybe be really diligent and smart on who you decide to room with, because it's really important. Because you're going to be living with him for quite a while, and things can get messy and things can get hard. So it's important that you really look into who you're wanting to room with and go from there. And you both, or whoever, all of you need to be on the same page going in to rooming together as to what the expectations are, how it should go, and just all really be on the same page. Because if you're not, trust me, it can get hard and messy really fast. So I just wanted to let you guys know, put that out there. I'm just telling my story. I do not talk to this person anymore. We are no longer friends, as the title says. I don't know, I just felt like I needed to share with you guys. And if you do see me looking down, it is because I have notes, bullet points on my computer. I don't want to miss anything. And the story spans over a whole school year. So there is quite a bit of stuff, and I did not want to leave anything out. So spring of 2018, I was living in an apartment with 3 strangers, basically, because I had transferred to this university the previous fall, because that's where all my friends went, and I wasn't happy at the school I was going to. So I ended up transferring for the starting of that school year. And like I said, I was placed with randoms. It started out really rough just because we had no idea who each other were, and my friends had already had a living situation locked down. They were all together, but we were still in the same apartment complex, so it was fine. And actually, one of my old roommates, her name is Courtney Milligan. She also has a YouTube channel, so I'll leave that linked down below. You should check her out. But anyways, the school year came to a close. It was time for me to move out, and I had signed a lease with my 2 best friends. We'll call them, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. We'll call my best friend that I'm talking about, we'll call her Olivia. And then my other friend that I'm living with, we'll call her Sydney. So Olivia is the one who we're talking about. So they had already lived together, and so I decided to just move in with them because one of their roommates was moving out, so decided to move in with them. And instead of lugging all my belongings, because I had a lot, instead of lugging them all to where I was staying for the summer, I decided to leave it there because, you know, I'm going to be living there in the fall, and what's the point of me taking it home with me when I'll just have to bring it all back and coming to the same exact place? So I was like, perfect, I'll just leave it here. You know, makes everything so much easier. So they were like, yeah, that's fine. Sydney was going home for the summer. Olivia is staying there at the apartment. So everything was good. We kept communication through the summer, but Olivia decided to let a boy that she barely knew, that we've warned her about because he didn't seem very genuine. We met him a few times. He seemed to be lying about things, and we knew he was lying because there was no proof. I'm pretty sure he told her that he played for, what is it? The Indiana NBA team, but below the NBA. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. He told her that he played for a minor league NBA team and that he made a lot of money. And my boyfriend is really into sports, so we were like, that seems kind of fishy. Like, first of all, he doesn't have a place to stay. He's living on couches. So we looked into it, and he's nowhere to be found on the rosters. So that was weird. We brought that to her attention. She like shrugged it off. He sold drugs, nothing serious, marijuana, you know, whatever. He sold marijuana. It just wasn't a good. Me and Sydney were like, you know, Olivia, I don't think you should keep in contact with this guy. Like, there's someone out there that's way better for you. You deserve the world. And we were really trying to urge her that, like, she should move on and find someone else, because we really felt like he was going to bring her down. So over the summer, she allowed him in our apartment. He basically stayed there a lot, and like he was there without her, so she would go to work and he would stay there. The point of the matter is she barely knew him, okay? Called me, I want to say mid-June, and she called me and she was like, so-and-so stole $300 of mine, you know, he's been stealing from me. I was like, okay, well, like I said, I think you should part ways from him. And this guy's really kind of the root of the problem. He's kind of like what started rolling the ball, I guess. Like, he center of the issue here. And I really was like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I kind of warned you about him. I told you he was bad news. And I was still trying to be supportive. I was like, you know, this can't keep happening. And she was like, yeah, I know, I'm done with him. Her relationship problems were eating at me, and I was trying to tell my boyfriend about it, and he was like, you know, you don't need to work yourself up about it. She's gonna do what she wants to do. A couple of days after that, she texted me and she was like, I think so-and-so stole your wax warmer. It's like that thing that lights up and you put the wax melts in it and it makes everything smell good. And if anyone knows me, they know that I love my wax melts and my wax warmer. And so I was like, that's strange, you know, because my stuff was there. It was there. It wasn't locked up or anything. No, I didn't think it had to be, but looking back now, I can see that was a mistake. So I was like, well, that's weird. Why would he, you know, like, what does a boy want to do with that? And she was like, I'm on my way to get it back. I was like, okay, well, let me know what happens. And so she texted me. She was like, hey, I got your wax warmer back. I was like, oh, great. Will you just put it back with my stuff? She was like, yeah, no problem. And at that point, she had found out that he had been with other girls, sleeping with other girls, even though they were like in a relationship. So she was all tore up about that. So they broke up, but they still hung out and they still talked to one another, and he was still in our apartment. Moving on to July. So the next month, I went up there to visit her. Sydney came with, like, Sydney lives there, but she went home for the summer, so she came too. And we all hung out, and I was looking at my stuff, and I was like, where's all my stuff? You know, like, some of it, like, a lot of it was missing. And she was like, oh, Quentin stole it. And I was like, excuse me? And she was like, yeah, he took your stuff. And I was like, and you're just now telling me? Like, you waited for me to find out that my stuff was stolen? You couldn't have told me, like, sent me a text. You shouldn't have left him in our apartment by himself, like. And I was just so mad, and I came up there to have a good weekend with my friends, and I left because I was just so unbelievably, like, mad. And it's like, he took my stuff and it made me mad, but I was just more mad at the principle of it. Like, you took things that weren't yours. And also what really made me mad is that she knew about it and she did not tell me. And we have been friends since 6th grade. I have known this girl since 6th grade, and she did not tell me. She just waited for me to find out. Oh, and another thing, my wax warmer was broken. And looking at it, you could tell it was broken. And she was like, oh hey, she texted me, she's like, oh hey, I got your wax warmer back. I'm like, yes. But she didn't tell me it was broken, so whatever. I went home, I was mad, and it didn't make things easier that we had a trip, all 3 of us, coming up to Vegas 2 weeks later. She was mad that I was mad, and I'm like, you do not have a right to be mad. Like, you basically let this happen. You invited this man into our home knowing he was not good. And so, whatever. And I have not even been looking at my notes. I don't even know where I'm at in the story. Hold on. Oh, and she did not apologize to me about my stuff being taken. She did not apologize. And I was just like, I need to be the bigger person. I want us to have a good trip. I don't want this to affect our trip. And I just really wanted us to have a good time. So I was like, you know what? What's done is done. I cannot change anything. So I'm just not gonna stress out about it. And at this point, it was only like a couple of things that I had seen taken, and I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna let it ruin our trip. We went on our Vegas trip the 2nd week of August, and I went back home for a week, and then that following week I had to officially go back to where I go to school. So that means I had to get my things in order, get all my ducks in a row before classes started. So Olivia was not there when I went into my room. I think she was at work. But Sydney and I, Sydney was going to help me decorate my room and like put all my stuff up. Because at this point my stuff was just in boxes on the ground. So once I started unpacking and putting things where they needed to be, I started seeing even more of my things missing. And y'all, guess what was missing? A bunch of expensive things. Like, I mean, they're pretty pricey alone, but when so many things go missing and you have to replace all of them, it added up. Sydney's stuff, her forks was gone. Some of her other things were gone. I cannot remember. I should have asked her. Both of our laundry stuff, like a whole brand new thing of laundry detergent, an unopened thing of Tide Pods was used. Sydney's whole thing of Comet, and if you know what Comet is, you know it takes a while to go through it. It's almost like our stuff was just purposely dumped out or somehow was put somewhere else, not in our apartment. So anyway, that's what we knew for sure that was gone before. I knew my laundry stuff was gone. I knew my wax melts were gone. There was more stuff missing in the beginning when I came to visit, but I cannot remember what they all were. Oh, my internet router was missing in the beginning. Yeah, when I came to visit, I realized that stuff was gone, plus my internet router. So as I'm unpacking and putting things up, I'm noticing more and more things are missing. I'm noticing shoelaces on my shoes are missing. I'm noticing my makeup and makeup brushes are missing, like for like glam stuff, not for like everyday, like stuff I don't use every day, but I use. So my makeup brushes were missing, my makeup was missing, perfume of mine was missing, and I'm sitting here thinking like, what does this boy need with my makeup brushes, my makeup, my perfume? Olivia's not there. I'm pretty sure she was at work or something, and me and Sydney were just like, what the freaking crap. Like, so I just keep unpacking, keep going along, even though I'm mad as hell. And I'm sure Sydney was like so annoyed with me because I'm like, who takes stuff that isn't theirs? Who? Like, I just kept saying it because I'm just trying to make sense. Like, why? Like, random things too that maybe were taken that they didn't think I would notice, or whoever. And so I'm like, whatever. So I go to put my bed together, right? And I have a mattress topper that goes on top of the mattress. It's like a memory foam. I think it was like 2 inches or something. You just stick it on top of the mattress and you put the mattress thing over it, like you make your bed. And I was like, that is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And I'm like, are you serious? He really took my used, dingy mattress topper. Like, I've had this thing with me for forever, and I'm like, who would take my mattress topper? And those things are like $80 to $100. They're not cheap. No mattress topper is cheap. All right, gotta add that to the list. Like, I was writing everything down on a piece of paper, and plus my internet router, and then I wish I had that list of everything that was taken. My makeup, shoelaces, makeup brushes, perfumes, and you know, one of those perfumes meant a lot to me. My mom passed away when I was 16 years old, and I kept the perfume that she always wore. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have kept it in a more safe place. But you know, as I said, like, I did not think that this would happen. And out of all the things that were taken, that's what hit home the most. Like, something so irreplaceable, and it just really stung. And so that was taken, along with all my other perfumes. My Tupperware, I found out, was taken. Some of Sydney's Tupperware was taken. My internet router, I've said that already like a billion times. Oh, and then I started putting together my bathroom. My shower curtain was taken. A lot of other decorations were taken. Printer paper was taken. My printer ink was taken. And all my wax melt spates, basically, all of them. I only had 5 left. And I was just really mad at that point. Like I said, I've been mad all day, basically unpacking, just finding more and more of my stuff taken. So I wrote it down on the list, and I knew she was at work, so I wasn't going to bother her with that at work, because you know, I know what it's like to be bombarded with basically drama when you're in the middle of something. So I waited till she got home, and I was just like, hey, like, all of this stuff is missing. And I told her about my mom's perfume, because that's what, after all the stuff that was taken, that's what I was really mad about. Like, I wanted it back. Like, it was irreplaceable to me. I wanted it back. I could replace everything else, whatever. I don't care. I just wanted the perfume back. And you know, she was with me through that time in my life when my mom did pass when I was 16. And her mom and my mom were best friends. Like, you know, they hung out and stuff. So I was like, can you just please get that back for me? After everything, guys, after all that stuff was taken, after the perfume, she just said, oh, dang. That's all she had to say to me. And I was like furious. I was crying. I called my grandma. I was like, I have to replace all of this stuff. And mind you, we had just came back from Vegas. Like, I did not have the funds. I was a little too irresponsible there. I shouldn't have spent the amount of money that I did, but you know, I did, and that was all, like, that was over it. Nothing I could do about it. And I was like, I really need help. Like, all the stuff is taken, and I like need to replace it, because like I said, I used stuff. My gram is the best gram ever. She always helps me when I need it. But she was like, I am not cleaning up her mess. Like, you need to hold her responsible and to have her help you. And I was like, you're right. And I hate asking people for money. I hate being that person. But I was like, you need to help me replace this. And she was like, I have no money right now. We just got back from Vegas. And I was like, yeah, I understand, completely understand. I'm in the same boat. Something about Olivia is she has student loans to cover basically all of her expenses through the semester. And since she doesn't live in a dorm anymore, she gets a lot back. And I was like, can you spot me like $50 or something? Like, at this point, I did not know how expensive it was gonna be. Turns out to be like almost $400 worth of stuff I have to replace, and I was being nice and only asked her for $50, and I was like, can you give me $50 when you get your residual back, like your refund? She was like, I'll see what I can do. I was like, so, basically I'm not gonna ever get it. So Sydney, being the good friend that she is, love you if you're watching this, I know you probably are, she went with me to get most of the stuff that was taken. I just started replacing all these things that were taken from me. And so basically I was in the negative in my bank account for a long time because that's just how it was. I was broke as a joke. So time goes on and I'm just still so mad, and I kind of let it go for a while, but I was like, no, like I want to know what happened, why it happened, and how you let it happen. So I texted her and I was mad, but like I was being mature about it. I wasn't like calling her names and like, dragging her and like, just being rude. I was like, I let her know how I felt. I let her know that I was mad. And she just acted like she did nothing wrong, that this wasn't her fault, I need to take it up with him, and playing victim. Like, she turned it around and made it about her and was not understanding that I was hurt by it, that you, my friend since 6th grade, let this man take my things and did not tell me about it. Like, you knew and you like let it go and like let me find out myself. I would have had a lot more sympathy for her had she told me, She like made it about her and made her into the victim, and I'm like, you are not the victim here. I don't know why you're mad and why you're mad that I'm mad. And she's like, I did not think that you would react this way. And I'm like, how did you think I was going to react to my stuff being taken? I mean, it was just the way she was acting and how she had no sympathy for anything. I'm just like, who are you? Like, and she became more and more self-centered and selfish and no regard for anyone throughout the entire year. And I'm just like, I knew at that point when we were talking and she was making everything out to be not a big deal and was making herself into the victim, which she was no victim in that situation, I knew our friendship was over. Like, I knew point blank period, I do not want to be friends with this person. And it did suck because I had to live with her for 2 whole semesters after that. And I just wish I had known before I moved there. I would have asked for a request to change rooms and live with strangers again, because I'd rather live with strangers than live with someone who takes me as a fool. You really didn't think either you really didn't think I was gonna notice, or you didn't think I was gonna be mad, which it blows my mind. But the way she handled that situation, I was just like, it really opened my eyes as to what kind of person she really is. Because even during high school, like, I kind of had red flags about her kind of being like that, but I didn't, like, she was my best friend, So she made it out to be not a big deal that my stuff was taken. never said sorry, told me I need to take it up with him. And like, I was just like, whatever, give me his number. Like, she was basically saying that she's not going to say anything to him because it's not her problem. So I just needed to talk to him. And I'm like, if my boyfriend did that to you, I would totally be so sorry and would talk to, like, you know, it's my boyfriend, you know? Like, I don't really know this dude. All I know is he's a liar and a stealer, a thief. So I was like, all right, give me his number. So I text him, again, being mature, but like also showing how I felt. So I was like, hey, so-and-so, like, I came to move in and like a lot of my stuff is missing. I just want it back. And he was like, well, we gave you your wax warmer back. And I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, well, it's broken. And he was like, well, it just sat in Olivia's room all summer. And I'm like, interesting. I just kind of like was like, whatever. And he said, gosh, I wish I still had the messages. He was like, I'm sorry things happened how it did, but we had to do what we had to do. And so I called Sydney in the room and I was like, read this. And so she read it and I was like, does this sound like what you think it sounds like? And she was like, oh yes, definitely. And I was like, So it wasn't just him in on taking my stuff. Long story short, they were basically selling my things because it all made sense. Like, why would he need my makeup brushes? Why would he need my makeup? Why would he need my high-end, like, I only have 3 perfumes and they're all really nice perfumes. There was like Versace, Ralph Lauren, and Gucci. And then one Rue 21 perfume. And I'm like, why does he need these perfumes, you know? Like, they smell really feminine. And I only use those like on special. I don't use them daily. I don't use my mom's at all. I didn't use the Ralph Lauren one at all. I only use them, I use them sparingly, but I mean, I use them. And so they were probably half full, more than half. And I'm like, what? I mean, you know, like, I just go back to like, why does this guy need my girl things? Well, I mean, it all made sense after that. Like, they were selling it. They sold my internet router, a mattress topper, all my other stuff, wax melts, because a lot of the wax melts hadn't been used because I kind of hoarded them. Laundry stuff, whatever. And I believe it because, you know, you go on Facebook and people sell like unused laundry stuff, you know, like lots of like cleaning supplies and makeup, and just like it all just made sense. And I'm like, she really did that to me. Like, my best friend did that to me. She again didn't care, whatever. So that whole situation is really what did it for me. I knew we would never be friends like we had been in the past after that. So moving on, school year has started. We're all talking, like just like normal, you know. I didn't want to live in tension, so, you know, I was just like, whatever. I purchased my things, you know, it's fine, except I didn't have my mom's perfume, which I was bummed about, but nothing I can do about it anymore. Someone else has it. So we were all sitting in the living room just talking, I guess, like normal, and she was like, I really am thinking about getting a cat. And I was like, for here, like in this apartment? And she was like, yeah, to stay here, this is where I live. And I was like, well, I'm really allergic to cats, so I don't think that's the best idea. And Sydney, she's kind of allergic too, not as bad, but she's like, it gets her going, you know, like sneezing and stuff. And I was like, I really really don't think that's a good idea. Like, I'd really rather you not, because cats break me out in hives. Like, my eyes get swollen, like I can't breathe, I sneeze all the time. So I was just like, please, I'd rather you not. She was like, yeah, you're right. And Sydney was like, yeah, don't just be sitting in your room all day, and you know, kittens have a lot of energy. She's like, yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, a cat shows up, little kitten, which cute as can be, but still. And I was just like, I was just kind of disappointed, because like I had told her like, hey, I'm allergic to cats, I'd rather you not. Sydney was like, hey, yeah, I'm allergic to cats, I'd really rather you not. But she got it, and you know, whatever, and it was cute, so I really couldn't be that mad. But I was just like, if it's gonna be in the common area, like the kitchen or the living room, could you just vacuum just to keep the hair from shedding? Because like that's what makes me react, is just the hair. And she was like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. Never once vacuumed the living room. Literally never once. We lived there from August till I moved out in May. She still, I think, lives there maybe. The lease ends in July, this July. Never once vacuumed the living room. Sydney and I had to do it. And it's a kitten, so it's a baby. I wish she had just kept it in her room, which, as sad as that sounds, but the kitten literally tore up Sydney and I's rug, one of Sydney's rugs, and she didn't tell it to stop. You know, she did, but like, she didn't really enforce, like, try to train the cat not to do that, you know? And so at the beginning of the school year, Sydney and I had bought some curtains for the living room, and they were pretty nice. The cat ruined them because it would run up the curtains and put holes in it. So when the curtains, like when the sun shined through the window, like you could see all the holes in the curtains, and it was just not cute. And we were just mad because like we bought those, and you know, she didn't really care to watch her cat to make sure it didn't ruin other people's belongings. And what really made me mad was she would let it walk on the countertops in the kitchen, and to me that is the most disgusting thing ever. It made me want to vomit every single time I saw it, because like, you know, kittens use the bathroom in their litter box, and like, first of all, they're just walking all over the bare floor all the time, and then for them to jump up on the counter and like where we prepare our food and stuff is just gross to me. She got a cat when we asked her not to, and then she like didn't care that it messed up our stuff, like our rug and our curtains and stuff. It was just like, again, showing that she really only cared about herself, and just nailing that, like, you really only care about yourself and you don't care about others, which, you know, is fine, you can be that way, but like, it's just sad because you live with 3 other people, well, 2 other people. It's just hard for me to think like how you aren't considerate about other people and their belongings, which maybe because she's an only child, like I grew up with siblings, Sydney grew up with siblings, so we kind of learned to be considerate about others, like that we live with other people. But I'm not going to make that excuse for her, because she's an adult and she should know how to act and how not to act, and how to be respectful to others. I'm going to leave it at that. She has smoked weed on and off before, which who gives a crap, like it's weed. I don't care for it personally, and neither does Sydney, but like we didn't care that she did it, you know. But what really made us hate it is that she did it in our apartment, and our apartment is not big by any means. We all have our own room and our own bathroom within our room, so the rooms are tiny. The living space is tiny. So if she was smoking weed in her room, like, it's definitely gonna smell up the whole apartment. And first time, whatever, she was smoking weed. Second time, whatever. But then it became a constant thing, like so constant, like multiple times a day, constant. She did it really late at night, and like really late at night, like 1:30, 2 a.m. And I don't know why, but it would wake me up. And I had to be up early most days, and it was just annoying that I was being woken up by marijuana smell. And I work at a preschool, so I did not want to go into work smelling like weed, because if the whole apartment smells that way, surely my clothes, you know, I probably smell like that. So Sydney and I decided to talk to Olivia about her smoking in the apartment. And we were like, if you do, like, we really don't want you to smoke in the apartment, like it's kind of becoming an issue. And but if you do want to smoke in the apartment, just open up your window, because we live on the first floor, and she didn't have a screen, and so she could just easily like step out there, smoke her weed, like without being seen, because it was very secluded where her part of the room was. Or just like open the window and like blow out of the window, you know, like just make it, like put a fan on it, make it go out that way, because it was just really becoming like I was tired of coming home and smelling marijuana, and so was Sydney. And we weren't trying to be rude, we were just like, she's gonna need to do what she wants, and you know, we live here too, so maybe we can figure out a way to where everyone gets what they want. She was like, she felt threatened, I think, because we both were like trying to talk to her about it. We were like all there, and once again she made herself into the victim. She was like, I don't get to do what I want, I pay to live here, blah blah blah. We were like, you know, we're not asking you not to smoke weed, like that's not what we're doing. We're just asking you to like open the window or maybe step outside, because it literally is no effort at all to step outside where your window is, because no one can see you. Because I mean, no smoking is allowed in the apartment complex, but people do it. Like it's a student living apartment, so I just didn't want it in the apartment anymore. I didn't want my room to smell like it. So that's where we were coming from, and she like took it completely the wrong way. She was like, I need this to sleep at night, and I need to smoke this, and blah blah blah. And we were like, that's fine, you're not really understanding what we're talking about, like you're just taking everything completely the wrong way. And so we finally got to an understanding, like, just open your window. She was like, that's fine. Once again, not very considerate or respectful towards other people's feelings. So the whole boy situation had been dealt with, I guess. It wasn't really. He told me he would get me money. He never did, which I kind of knew he would never give me anything. Before school started, we had came to an agreement that he would no longer be in this apartment, because she knew he was bad news. She was like, I'm done with him. He's not a good person, blah, blah, blah. So we all agreed that he would not be back. Well, something you need to know about this dude, he knows how to work. It's like he has her wrapped around his finger and could like put her under a spell. Because I truly believed, like, he did some other things to her that I won't get into because it's not my business, and I knew she was hurt by it. My heart went out to her for that. I for sure thought he would not be back in our apartment after that. And so she started getting a little creative with how he would come. So she would bring him in after we had already left, or he would leave from staying the night after we left. But the way she would sneak him into our apartment is through her window. So her window stayed open all the time, like unlocked, which is not safe, by the way, but she did it. And I heard him in there one day, and I was like fuming. I was like, I wanted to bust in there. I wanted to be like, give me my money, you piece of crap, for taking it whatever, but I was like, I had to control myself. I was like, do not do that. So I knocked on her door, which her door was locked. Her door isn't hardly ever locked. And so I knew. I was just basically being mean because I wasn't being mean, but I was just like, I know he's in there, so I want you to be scared. And so she was like, hey, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, just because sometimes we would come to each other's doors and like be like, hey, what's up? And so she went back in her room, and so I went and got Sydney, and I was like, Sydney, he is in there. And she was like, are you serious? And I was like, yes. And so she came out of her room to the kitchen. I can't remember what she was doing. I think she was putting her dish away or something. And so I was in my room, and so it was Sydney and Olivia out there. And Sydney was like, hey, can I see Casper? Because Casper was in her room. And so Olivia went back to her room to get Casper, but Sydney followed her. And I was in my room, and I saw, because her door faces my door, and I saw Olivia like signal for him to get down, so Sydney wouldn't see him. I was just like, I know he's in there. And it was just funny watching her squirm, which probably wasn't very nice, but you know, she wasn't really nice all the time. So point of the matter is, she still continued to let this man in our home, whether it was unattended or her there. And I just wish you guys knew everything that he's done, both to her and to me and Sydney. But it was just funny. Like, you are so selfish. Like, if she lived by herself, I wouldn't be so bothered. But like, it's the fact that like we all came to the conclusion, sat down, talked about it, and decided that he would no longer be there. And again, goes to show how she is as a person. So not only was our things taken and stuff, but throughout the school year, we would notice like our food missing and stuff. And we would just notice like our food, some of our food has been eaten. Like if her and I made brownies or whatever, like yeah, we would offer Olivia some, but like more was gone than what we had eaten. So we like knew that our food had been eaten. And we originally thought that it was the boy, because before the school year, before I had actually lived there, the school year previously, he started coming around like April, and he would stay there without her then, and he would eat their food. So like, he would eat Sydney's food, and he would eat the other girl's food that lived there, and the other girl, because there was 4 of them living there, so he would eat the other 3's food. And everyone confronted him about it. It was obviously him, and he just ate their food. And they didn't like that, and they tried to tell her to not let him, but he still did. When our food was missing, we were like, is he eating our food again? And so we were like, you know, Olivia, we know that boy is still here, like, just make sure he's not here when you're not here, because our food's missing again. Students, we're not rich, we can't just replace things all the time. And you know, I would only grocery shop at a certain time within the month, because that's when I had money and that's when I could budget for it. And so when things go missing sooner than they should be, it's like, well, now I'm gonna go without food for X amount of time. Well, so we were like, we know he's been in here without you, we know he's here, could you just please make sure he is not here when you're not here? And she was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll make sure he's not here when I'm not here. So we were like, okay. After we had that conversation, food still came up missing, and we were like, it's her, like, obviously, because, you know, she would smoke weed, and if anyone smoked weed before, it makes you hungry, and so she would eat multiple times after she got done eating dinner, so she probably didn't even know it was our food. She just ate it because she was hungry. You know, normally when I cook, after I cook and eat, I clean up right after that, because I'm kind of OCD when it comes to the kitchen. I don't want dishes piling up, I don't want bugs, and it just like, I can move on with the rest of my night once I've cleaned up. Sydney's the exact same way. Again, we were raised with siblings and we had a lot of responsibilities, as in chores and stuff, whereas Olivia probably, well, I know she really didn't have any chores because, I mean, she was an only child. Like, her parents just basically did everything, which really no fault to her own, but like, once you move out and get an apartment with other people, like, you should learn really quick to clean up after yourself. But she didn't figure that out. She still hasn't figured that out. She would make things and leave it on the stove for weeks at a time. I'm not even exaggerating when I'm saying that. Like, it would be weeks at a time. And I remember one of the pans was on the stove for about a week maybe, and then it made its way to the sink and was filled with water by her, and I guess that was her way of cleaning it. And she let it sit in the sink for probably, gosh, I want to say like 2 weeks, and the pan started rusting. Like, she just didn't clean up after herself. If she would make messes on the stove, wouldn't clean that up, counter, wouldn't clean that up. Like, she was the kind of person that, because Sydney had a Keurig and we all used it, she was kind of the person that takes the used K-cup out of the Keurig and sets it on the counter and leaves it, like, doesn't even throw it away. Like, that doesn't clean up after herself. That was very, very annoying to both Sydney and I, because just clean up after yourself. Everyone else does it, you know, like, so, but we didn't even touch on that with her, because it was just a lost cause at this point. Like, we would try to be open and honest with each other and try to fix problems when they arise. But it was just like talking to a brick wall. It was like, you would tell her things and she would act like she was listening, but I don't even know if she was listening at this point, like, because nothing really changed. And so we were like, it's just a lost cause. It's just a lost cause at this point. As time went on, she became even more rude, even more disrespectful, like stank face to the max all the time, like, felt so bothered. But it just became extremely uncomfortable to live with her. It was just not what I had expected coming into the school year. And we worked at the same place. We had the same major, so we had classes together, we had work together. For me, it was hard because she really still thought we were the best of friends, and I just went along with it at the time because, like I said, we still lived together and I didn't want to live even more uncomfortably than I already was. So, I mean, I didn't go out of my way to be friends with her, like be buddy-buddy. But if she talked to me, like, I wouldn't talk to her back. So that was, it was hard. And I kind of feel bad looking back, like, that I maybe led her on in a way. But you guys just don't understand, like, it was so much drama. Like, she would want to blow our phones up all the time about the littlest things and wouldn't want to talk to us to our faces, and it was just like so much drama, and I just did not want a part of it. So by the end of the spring, by the spring semester, I was just like, whatever, let's just be friends. Her bitchiness towards me kind of went away, but her and Olivia and Sydney's relationship kind of got rocky over some drama that I'm not going to get into. It would take so long for me to talk about. So they were kind of like not really friends, I guess, but we're civil. They were civil, but not like friends. Like, Olivia didn't look at Sydney like she looks at me, I guess. Which is crazy because the girl did so many wrong things to me, but whatever. It's just she thought that everything should just be forgiven. And that's just not the case. Like, I am not, like, what she did to me is so unbelievably disgusting and disrespectful and wrong. Like, I could never forget about that. She still smoked in the apartment a lot. We still came home to weed smell. We still woke up to weed smell. Like, it was just constant marijuana smell all the time. After we had had that conversation with her, she just didn't care, and she still did what she wanted to do. And back to that drama between her and Sydney, they were done with each other, which obviously I would be too if I were Sydney. Olivia did not even want to look her in the eye, like did not want to be around her at all. And then one day I was out of town. It was over the weekend. I was out of town, and Olivia's car battery had died. I wasn't there to jump her, so guess who she texted? She texted Sydney and was like, hey, I just want to know that I'm not mad at you anymore, blah, blah, blah. But hey, can you come jump my car because it's dead? She only texted her that so she could get a favor out of it. And Sydney, being the sweetheart she is, she did it. And it just became more and more apparent that she does things out of her own benefit. You know what I mean? Because had her car battery not died, she would have never texted Sydney. They probably still would have been the way that they were at the time. And it was just like so clear. Olivia's whole life, her life at school and her life at home were two completely different things. And she would like say something to her mom and make me a part of a lie, like covering for herself to her mom, and then her mom would reach out to me and put me in the middle. And it's just like, I don't want to live like that. I'm 23 years old. I know now how to spot a toxic person, and I know now that you just need to cut them from your life. So after the semester was over, I moved my things out. Just more drama had happened between her and Sydney. I wouldn't even call it drama. Basically, Sydney and I moved all of our stuff out of the apartment, which left her with no cleaning supplies, no vacuum, no decorations. And so Olivia took to Twitter and was like, I'm never having roommates again, and saying how she doesn't even have this and this anymore, insinuating that Sydney and I took things that were hers and left her with nothing. And you know, that was just the last nail in the coffin. So I liked it. I liked the tweet because I was being petty, and I blocked her number, blocked her on Twitter, blocked her on Instagram, blocked her on Snapchat, removed her sweet mom on Facebook. I just did not want to see her ever again. Like, she was just so full of drama. And what really made me mad was she had tweeted that stuff, and then a couple hours later asked Sydney for her Wi-Fi password because Sydney's router was still there. And Sydney didn't see it until the morning after. So she gave her the password, and Olivia texted back and she was like, it's okay, I got a new router, so I don't need it anymore. And then like 2 hours after that, she saw the tweets that Olivia had made about us. And so she let me know about it, and so we knew about it at the same time. And Sydney was just so mad because she made those tweets and then a couple hours later asked her for a favor. It's like I don't know how her brain works. Like, if you hate someone so much, why are you asking them for favors, and why are you trying to make them look bad on social media for basically insinuating that we took your things? So we both liked the tweet, and I took it upon myself to just block her out of my life because I don't want someone like that in my life. And the drama took a huge toll on me. I was stressed out all the time. I felt she would make herself into a victim and would make me somehow feel bad for her. And she was not the victim at all. And she would twist things around and make it about herself. And I'm like, I do not want this in my life. Like I said, I'm 23 years old. I do not want high school, middle school drama in my adult life. Like, I'm trying to make a career for myself, make a life for myself, and I don't need you in it. So I just cold turkey just blocked her on everything. I never gave her an explanation as to why we are no longer friends. And kind of looking back, it's been like a month. Looking back, I kind of wish I did give her an explanation, because knowing her, she was probably confused, because like I said, she would talk to me and act like we were friends, and I just kind of went along with it. But deep down, I think she knows why we are no longer friends. And hopefully she took time to reflect on that, and maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But this girl has lost four of her best friends in less than a year. So I hope she has reflected on her life and her choices, and seen what she can do better in future relationships, because when 4 people just don't want to be friends with you anymore, it's not those people. It's something to do with you. And I know it's for the best. I know it's best for me. I know deep down it is best for me. And that is all that matters, because I want to surround myself with people that are genuine, respectful, care for other people. The people you need to surround yourself with. You need to surround yourself with people that you know that have your back 100%. In the beginning of this video, I told you guys I'm not trying to bash her. I really truly do hope the best for her, and I hope she has an amazing life with whatever endeavor she has. Moral of the story is, if you are going off to college and you need roommates and you think that living with your friends is like the best thing, the best idea ever, because it's better than living with strangers, just remember the story that you're watching, and know that just because you've known each other for X amount of time does not mean that you're going to be good roommates. That chapter is closed for another one to open. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. And if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.